scent elimination system.
Is that exciting or what, when they come working in like that?
November 9th again, here in Michigan. And we're
until yesterday.
Oh man, look at this buck, would you?
Whitetail deer are tough to hunt. Their keen nose and sharp ears can detect unnatural odors and sounds at incredible distances, many times before the whitetail hunter ever gets a chance to see them. Hi, I'm Tom Miranda, and welcome to Primetime Bucks, Mastering the Systems. In this video, I'm going to be joined by some of the best whitetail hunters in the country. Men like Bob Foulkrod, Matt Moret, Mark June, and Paul Vaz. And together we're going to discuss some of the intricate details to learning how to master the systems for whitetail success. Details like human scent elimination and odor control, setting up luring stations for whitetail bucks, learning how to grunt and call, rattle those bucks in correctly, and also locationing and patterning, trying to find the best place to hunt the whitetail deer. Plus, we're going to go on exciting hunts and see over-the-shoulder archery whitetail action like you've never seen it before. Well, let's get started and catch up with Matt Moret as he discusses patterning and locating whitetail bucks on ridge tops.
Gosh, what a beautiful day. Cold, mid-November morning, right in the middle of the rut. You know, we picked this stand because it's just in a great spot. I've been on this ridge before with Tom, and I've noticed there's a cornfield out to this side and a lake or, you know, a body of water on this side, and the wind's predominantly coming from this side, blowing towards the water, and it's blowing the scent of mead down across that water, and it's almost like a funnel. There's a lot of acorns on this ridge, and it's bringing the does in, and that's very important. During the rut, when the does are around you, that's where the bucks are going to be. Another thing, you know, during the rut, it's very important to hunt as long as you can. I like to try to hunt all day long, maybe come out about 12 o'clock, get a bite to eat, and get back in the stand, because you just never know when that opportunity is going to arrive for a shot. Real thick area, that's good deer cover. Deer like to be in the thick areas, but you know, this time of year when those bucks are chasing does, once in a while they get a little stupid. Once in a while they're going to be vulnerable. They're going to come out and they're going to give you that shot. A lot of times those big bucks, they stay in this thick stuff, they stay secluded all day long until, you know, late in the evening they'll head to those fields. But during the rut, when they're chasing does, once in a while they just give you that opportunity. I like to get into an area thick, a lot of cover like this. I like to find a tree with a good background and get my stand in there, but I like to try to find a little bit of an opening to put my tree stand where I can get a shot down through this stuff, and that's where I put my stand for today's hunt. A little bit cool, it's important to dress for the occasion. You know, you don't want to wear too many clothes where you sweat a lot, but you want to wear enough clothes, good boots, socks, long underwear. You want to dress so that you can stay in that stand comfortably as long as you can. Patience is very important this time of year. Can't say enough about it. We've got a lot of deer sign up here on this ridge, a lot of deer droppings, and I saw a lot of buck rubs. And that's a good indication that deer are using this ridge. Also, a lot of natural scrapes out along this ridge, a good scrape line. And I've placed a mock scrape using Magic Scrape and Premium Doe Estrus about 20 yards from my stand. Hopefully it draws that buck's attention and brings him in close for a good shot. So I'm putting my bow pull-up rope here around my equipment. You know, every time I get to the tree stand, I'm reminded about safety. Tree stand hunting, today's bow hunters, most guys hunt out of a tree stand. It can be dangerous. It's very important, a few simple things to be safe. The first and most important thing is your safety belt. It's very important to wear a safety harness. You know, you might be climbing up your tree stand, and what happens, you know, you might feel a little bit dizzy or something's wrong. You can always throw that safety belt around and just make yourself a little bit more secure. As you can see, I have nothing extra hanging on me. All my equipment's going to be pulled up. And that's very important because you don't want anything to get caught in your steps or anything else along the tree. Let's go up to the tree stand and get the gear up. First thing that I do when I get to the tree stand is I put my safety belt around there. You know, you never know what might happen. You might lose footing, feel a little bit insecure. This way you're in tight. It's very important to be safe. It's also important to try to be as quiet as you can. It's important when you're pulling your bow up. Try not to let it hit the stand. Try not to let any of your equipment make any metal sound or anything like that. Something that might disturb the deer in your area. Real quiet, get everything up here, get it hung up, get ready to hunt. Put the blind up. I'll tell you one thing. This is one of the neatest things that we've got. This keeps your movement down to a very much of a minimum. If you don't have any cover in the tree that you're in, this blind can really work wonders. Keeps you totally hidden, you know. Deer's out there 20, 25 yards. He looks up here, he can barely see anything.
Got one coming down here, coming up the ridge. Oh yeah, look at that, that's a buck. Wind's blowing right in his face. He doesn't even have any idea we're here. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. He's coming up the ridge. these guys go so you can get big deer. Or let him go. Uh-oh. Good buck, good buck. There's a good buck. By that tree. Oh man, look at him rub that tree. Oh my gosh. He's fired up. He must got some scent down. He must got that premium doe estrus coming right in his nose. Wind's blowing right in his face. He doesn't even have any idea we're here. Uh-oh, here he comes. Here he comes, he's coming. Wind blowing right in his face. Perfect shot. Yes. Yes. Right to the lungs. Right to the lungs. He shouldn't go very far. He stopped down there and rubbed that tree. Came up in this opening, but he stopped right behind some branches. I had to pick a hole to shoot through. When I found the hole, I took the shot and right behind the shoulder. Perfect shot. Yeah. I think he's down. Yes, he's down. He's down. All right.
We put our magic scrape out here about 20 yards, put some premium doe estrus in. Hopefully, bucks funnel down this ridge. They smell that hot doe in the air, come in to investigate. Then we put it right by this rub right here, and it takes a pretty good deer, probably that buck that we took, to make a rub like that. I know I got total pass-through with my arrow. Let's see if we can find that arrow. Oh yeah, right there it is. All right. Deep, dark blood. I tell you, we used a total scent elimination system. The wind was blowing right in that buck's face. He never knew we were there. Let's go take a look at that tree that buck rubbed a while ago. Man, he tore this tree up. I'll tell you, we must have been pretty close to his bedding area. It's real thick, real good cover on the other side of that hill. Gosh, that rub's almost as tall as I am. Takes a good deer to make a rub like that. I'll tell you, here during the rut, it's good to get close to the bedding area. Get on a ridge, it has a lot of food on it like this, a lot of acorns. Let's go see if we can find this guy. Man, it's a lot thicker down here on the ground when you get down out of that tree stand. That's one of the advantages of hunting from 20, 25 feet up there, is that you can get that arrow down through this brush, where if you're hunting on the ground and you try to shoot through it, most of the times you're gonna get a deflection. Here he is. Yes! Look at that deer. Woo! Yeah! Man, what a buck. What a buck, especially my first buck on video. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 pointer. Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, these bucks right in the middle of the rut, chasing those does, working this ridge that we were on. Matter of fact, he stayed on this ridge. Even when the arrow went through him, he never knew he was hit. Good sharp broadhead, and he stayed on that ridge. That just tells you that's where he's been living. He's out there looking for does. He came down there, he rubbed that tree, just tore the heck out of that tree. I think what happened, he got a whiff of that scent coming out of the magic scrape and come up there to investigate and gave me a good clean shot. Man, what a deer. Yes.
Well, congratulations, Matt, on your first video buck ever. You know, Matt mentioned total human scent elimination being a key factor to the success of that hunt. But what is total human scent elimination? We need to think about our odors, our human odors, when we're in the tree stand. A whitetail buck has such a keen sense of smell as he moves through the woods, any detection of human odor is going to repel him from your setup. And we sure can't have that. So let's take a look at what total human scent elimination is, the regimen that you need to use before you go whitetail deer hunting.
Be careful here, be careful.
All hunters who consistently get close to whitetails know that a system of eliminating human odors is essential. It's a major part of the equation to invade a buck's territory and be undetected. The total human scent elimination process is a 6-step system which covers all the bases and eliminates human odors totally for hunters who perform each step correctly. To begin, all hunting clothing should be laundered in Scent-Away laundry detergent. Now, this detergent is free of added perfumes and UV brighteners. Once you've washed all your hunting clothing, it should then be dried and placed in a scent-safe storage bag. Scent-safe storage bags are tri-layered to keep foreign odors out. To the bag, place in the supplied Fresh Earth Cover Scent wafer and seal the bag tight. Now these hunting clothes are clean and ready for your hunt. Remember, use a scent-safe storage bag because a garbage bag does not work. On the morning of your hunt, be sure and shower with Scent-Away soap. Don't use shampoos or soaps with perfume smells. Scent-Away soap is odor-free and will help hold in your human odor. Use Scent-Away antiperspirant deodorant and no aftershaves or colognes. Now take your scent-safe storage bag and hunting clothing in the vehicle with you, so at the location you can field dress. Field dressing is very important because it ensures that hunting clothing will not absorb foreign odors while in transit to your hunting area. Once dressed, spray down with Scent-Away spray. Be sure to spray liberally and include boots and hats. Then you want to pin on 3 cover scent wafers to clothing and use boot pads soaked with fox urine or raccoon urine. As you walk into the stand, take a direct route and avoid walking in over deer trails and brushing up against vegetation. Once in the stand, spray down with additional Scent-Away spray, and that will complete the process. Total human scent elimination should be used before wood scouting and all hunts, removing the clothing and restoring it after the hunt. Now, it may sound like a lot of extra work, but hunters using the total human scent elimination system have incredible results, like Roy Allison of Iowa with his 193 score Pope and Young buck.
Okay, I use products from Hunter Specialties, and that I use their Scent-Away soaps on all my clothes, and I use their Scent-Away shampoos, and this year they come out with their Scent-Away deodorant. And then I use all them products, and I try to be scent-free as possible. I have used baking soda and everything else in the past to try to be scent-free, but the Scent-Away soaps and that are a lot more convenient, and I feel a lot safer with them. I've had deer pass me and that standing on the ground and that, and never even knew I was there. And over the last 3-4 years and it's just been outstanding, and that to use that and feel safe in that you're not going to leave much odor in the woods.
And if that buck wasn't big enough, Mark Potts of Illinois took this monster 234 1/8 score double drop time buck using Hunter Specialties total human scent elimination system.
One of the things you got to do first is you've got to stay clean. And I believe in staying clean
scent-free, you got to use some type of unscented soap. And the soap that I use is a Scent-Away, Hunter's Specialty Scent-Away, which I refer to as a green soap. When I need soap, I say, honey, go to the store and pick me up some green soap. I need some green soap for hunting, which I keep, in my camper, I keep in my locker, I keep everywhere, to prepare me before hunts. So that's one of the things I do to stay clean, is use the green soap.
Well, now that we understand the regimen of total human scent elimination, we need to catch up with archery whitetail expert Bob Foulkrod. In this Midwestern hunt, Bob sees a lot of deer moving under his stand and gets a chance to harvest a nice whitetail because of total human scent elimination. Let's watch. Now Bob is hunting with Steve Shoup at J&S Trophy Hunts and has a buck coming in to early grunting. This buck here is just out of bow range for Bob. If you'll listen, you'll notice that Bob changes not only his cadence, but the tone of his grunt call. I think this is something you need to keep in mind when you're using a grunt call in the woods. Sometimes a little bit different tone can be just what the doctor ordered. Now these deer are feeding on acorns in this oak flat. Steve Shoup is really well known as providing some of the best whitetail habitat and hunting for just about any outfitter in the Midwest. Now in the tree, Bob has hanging some fresh earth cover scent wafers. You see them here. That is part of his regimen for total human scent elimination. We've got another deer coming in. That's 2 deer this morning. It doesn't seem like this deer is real interested in the grunting sound, but watch again as Bob changes the tone of the call. There it is. That definitely got his attention. Now this buck is in bow range for Bob, but it's a little small. Bob's going to wait, hold off a little bit.
I've been a lot of years trying to find something that worked for me. This HS system, if people follow the directions, watch the video, it's good video because it's really instructional. It'll tell you about the laundry detergent, taking a bath, keeping your clothes in a scent lock bag, spray for in a tree stand, non-scented deodorant, you got wafers, and pay attention to the detail that it gives you because it's going to help you be successful on this white-tailed deer. If you don't believe so, watch that video on how many bucks. We must have a dozen deer, upwind, downwind, sidewind, and nothing ever detected we were there.
Paul Vaz is a master carpenter in the summer and a full-time whitetail hunter in the fall. Now this Ohio hunter has an uncanny knack of getting archery close to nice whitetail bucks. In the wintertime, Paul's passion is predator calling, using a predator call to send out sounds to attract foxes and coyotes. And if you haven't guessed it yet, that means he also likes to use a grunt call and rattling bag to bring big bucks close. Let's take a look.
I know there's a lot of you out there who are actually intimidated by using a deer call, but I'm here to tell you it can not only enhance, it can make your deer hunting super slam interesting. A big point when using your deer call is the word assume. Now when you and I walk up to each other, we say hi. We get that instant feedback with hello. When we use a deer call, we have to assume every call is heard by a deer. So we don't get that instant gratification by seeing that deer right off the bat. And a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, we call too much. Now what I've got here is your basic deer call. In fact, this one can be made into 4 different calls by moving this little rubber band up and down the reed. We've got a setting at fawn, doe, young buck, and mature buck. And I'm going to show you how each one of these work. We've got a mature buck right here. I keep the call close to my body. My voice is very deep as I blow through the call, producing a real deep growl, gruntal sound. Now I'm going to move this up to a young buck, and you'll hear the difference here. This is a younger buck, just a little higher pitched. Now we'll move it all the way up to a doe. For the most part, they obviously have smaller throats and they make more of a high-pitched sound. Now we'll move it up to the fawn, which is obviously the smallest of all the deer. Notice how I open my hand up. It's almost like a horn presenting the sound to the outdoors, to the wooded area. We want to call to the deer and opening our hand up, presenting the call to them. When I start my calling sequence, I automatically keep my audible low or volume low, not knowing exactly what's out there. Just because I can't see it, it might still be able to see me. Keep the volume low. And also, if there is a deer in your area that you can see, try not to call too much because their hearing is so directional, they'll pinpoint you and pick you right out and gone they are. But if you've got one in your area who doesn't seem to be too interested, or maybe he's working a scrape or a rub and he isn't quite coming over close to you, you can use a real low volume call just to communicate with him, not too much, maybe let him know that you're there, and he may come over and investigate. That's all you need to get a shot. As I go through my checklist right now, I'm reminded of a story when I got all the way to my tree stand and then remembered I forgot my release. So what I've done is I've packed all my stuff in one location, whereas before I might have it in 3 or 4 different pockets, not knowing exactly what I had. This mag pouch seems to work fantastic for me. It houses everything I need, and everything I need in here has a place and a purpose in the woods. I've got my release, and in this front pouch, I carry my camouflage paints, a couple of different lures I carry with me, my tree stand trail markers, which can be seen with a little flashlight in the dark, and I move up to this pouch, my all-important scent away spray, which I use liberally all over me, my head net or face shield. I've also got an extra pair of camouflage gloves. How many times have we lost a camo glove in the woods and you never find it? This main pouch, I got my set of knives, which of course we hope we use. I've got my all-important rattle bag with me. I've got an equipment puller for the tree. This is all important also. It pulls my equipment up into the tree, such as my bow or any of this mag pouch or whatever, once I'm into the tree. Very safe. This also has my Red Fox urine, which I'm putting on my boot pads. That all fits neatly into one pouch, which straps around my waist. It's compact, I can slide it around my back, I can release it when I get to the tree and hang it in the tree. Everything's there, I know what I've got. I've gone through my mental checklist before I leave the truck. So when I walk away from the truck, it's not just a bow and arrow that I'm carrying, I've got all my equipment right here. Comes a buck. Oh, come on, baby, come this way. Oh, yeah. There's a monster buck. Can you believe that shot? God, I can't believe he came in perfect. Man, I was hoping he'd walk right into that clearing. I'm about to shiver and shake right out of these camo clothes. That made it all worth it. The patience I had to have, because I am absolutely freezing right now. Man, he is a monster. I can't wait to get down and see him. That worked out perfect. Oh man, of course he's gonna go through the thickest of the thick here. Be careful now, be careful now. Let's give him a tap. Let's give him a tap. That's it, it's expired. Oh, man. What a buck. Look at this. Look at this. I can't even, all tangled in here. Oh, look at the size of this one. Man, I'm telling you, look at this. Look at what he's been raking.
I got stuff all through his antlers, the bark and everything else. His neck is huge. Is this a sweet looking buck or what?
Well, that's Paul Vaz doing a good job as always. You know, getting kids involved in hunting is something every hunter should try to do. Doing talks on the outdoors at local schools can be a real eye-opener to youngsters, teachers, and to even yourself. Youngsters are the future of hunting, and in the South, hunting is still a family way of life. Take Draper Malden and his brother Douglas. These Mississippi hunters learned hunting from their father and spend nearly every hour they can before and after school enjoying the outdoors and hunting. And they're getting pretty good at it. Here, Douglas has a doe spotted, moving in close to a stand site he selected. With liberal limits of a deer a day during season and a TV camera in the tree with him, Douglas has decided to take the shot if the doe comes in close out of the bush. Harvesting a doe in most instances is good for local deer populations. Where many hunters wouldn't waste their tag on a doe, these boys have learned that it's not so macho to always shoot a buck, and that does are challenging too. It's these ethics that make good hunters great hunters and role models for other outdoorsmen. But you know, there's just one other rule in hunting, and that is don't have your deer field dressed and mounted before the shot, because anything can go wrong, even at 12 yards. Swartz Creek, Michigan's Mark June is no stranger to cold weather and has mastered the system to using lures late season for bucks.
Well, how about this for deer hunting? You know, some of you in parts of the United States might not recognize what snow cover looks like, but I tell you, this is my favorite time of year to hunt whitetails, because this snow is just a signpost and a marker. I got tracks all over here, and I'm following deer tracks into an area that I'm going to hunt. It's just a bunch of fun to see the story unfold here in the snow. We got a couple inches of white stuff, and it's just pretty anyway. Beautiful day. Come here and follow me. Let me show you what I'm going to do to set up on the whitetails here in the snow. The bucks have been moving in an area over here about 20 to 30 yards in this thick stuff. We're moving through right now a thicker vein over to an area that I want to talk specifically about cold weather lure usage. It is a lot different than maybe what many of you have done. Many of you start to use lure early in the season when the weather's mild. Cold weather is entirely different. Fact, you've got to be more aggressive in the way you use lures, and you've got to be more creative. And by that, let me just bring up trapping here for a second. My background, trappers know when the weather gets cold, it shuts lure down, so you've got to use louder stuff. They call it call lure, and I'll put it out here in a minute and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But we use call lure in conjunction with our gland lure or urine-based lure at a mock scrape. It's a complete system. Call lure, mock scrapes, urine around the area. Hey, we're fighting cold weather, which tends to shut lures down. We've got to use more of them or it just doesn't matter. Bucks universally check scrape areas from downwind, almost universally. Does do the same thing. They filter down there, they look the area over, they're looking, listening for signs, for danger, whatever, and they're looking this way. Now by call lure, like 2 drops of Prime, this stuff is punchier, it reaches out further, and you need it when the weather turns cold. I'm just gonna dip this in here, just gonna say, hey, that smells pretty darn good, okay? Now I'm going to put this on 2 or 3 different locations, and this is going to reach out for me, but I still need that urine product and that mock scrape for visual factors around my setup. It gives the deer something to work towards and end up at when I'm trying to take a shot. It keeps their mind off of me too when they're working into the scrape setup. You know, the temperature today is about 12 degrees, I guess, wind chill of about 0. Stuff as crunchy as you can hear. And this is a good area here. We're getting into what we need, which is overhanging branches. I've got one here. I'm going to pull this one down a bit, break it off a bit. I just want something for that buck to play with. We've all seen them, how they just like to stick their nose up here, rub their antlers. They deposit their own gland scent and smell on these branches. You need an overhanging branch. Now I'm going to take these 2 right here, probably do another one over here, and this is going to surround. Again, my call lure is behind me, reaching out. Downwind, stand down here. This is my mock scrape area. So I'm going to go ahead, kick out a scrape. Now on these mock scrapes, again, we made them big, and we're going to shake out a product that's got tarsal gland, it's got some urine in it. We're going to put some urine here. And it might seem like overkill to you. You're saying, Mark, we're using a lot of different products here, buddy, but it's needed. And if you're going after the majority of the deer in your area, hey, you've got to give them 2 or 3 different reasons to visit this area. If you think you can just put one thing out and expect all the deer to visit it, well, it's just not going to happen. So I try to hedge against those odds and give them a lot of different reasons, a lot of different things to investigate when the weather turns real cold like this. Mock scrapes, call lure. Let's go look at my setup, downwind again, of all of this. Okay, now I'm brushing out my tracks all the way to my tree stand, just trying to kind of obliterate the fact that I've even been here wearing rubber boots, trying not to leave a bunch of scent. And here we are at the tree. Stand up here, and all of the lure and all of everything I've done is upwind of where we're standing right now. Wind is in my face, coming from the west here actually today, as it normally does in this area. And everything I've got is about 25, 30 yards this way, right upwind. And the plan is for deer to catch wind of that call lure, which I've just put out, and hopefully work by the setup. They get in here as in fact, I can smell that call lure standing right here, and heck, deer could smell a lot better than I can, so they could smell it a heck of a lot farther away, and that's the plan. As they work in here, they catch a whiff of that gland lure, that urine, and they continue to work and mill around here, and hopefully I get a good shot.
Now this is going to look unusual because you aren't going to put any deer lure out in the middle of a pond, but if it rains or when it snows, everything gets wet. Not this wet, but we're going to show you something that's going to be really neat. This is dirt that I just took off of the side. Now if you were going to make a luring station and you wanted to get the lure close to the ground, you're going to want to put it down low or on the ground, maybe make a mock scrape. This is the dirt we're going to be able to use. Now if we were to put lure right on that dirt, it's going to soak into it and it's going to be hard for that lure to reach out. What I've got here is Magic Scrape. And what this does, it's a mock scrape in a bottle. Look at this, I'm going to pour it right on the ice here. It's just dirt. No, it's a secret dirt. Let me show you. I'm going to grab a spoon, and we're going to take some of the soil that we'd be making a mock scrape with, and we're going to put it right down through the ice. It's cold out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a hard rain, but look at that. It's mud. That's what's going to happen to your lure. We can't have that. And if that freezes, no lure smell is going to get out. But look at the Magic Scrape. We're going to take that, we're going to put it in the water here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30. Look at that. It works like magic. What this does is this is a lure applicator situation. Low to the ground, we can put lure right on this, and it's going to stay there, and it's going to dissipate out. The smells are going to get out on the currents, stay low to the ground, and bring deer right in. We can make a mock scrape with this, and we don't have to worry about the weather. In climate weather conditions, you need to use products like this. It's going to help you be more successful.
That doe's on the move, and that buck's right behind her. They're out there about 120, 130 yards coming through. I'm gonna put these binoculars away. I think they might be moving this way this time. I am frozen. Yep, they're moving this way. I'm gonna take this glove off too. Come on, baby, come on. I'm gonna get serious now. I think they're headed this way, finally up this ridge. That buck is right on that doe. He is not leaving her. We got a courtship ritual. Stand up and get ready. Knock an arrow. Good thing about what's happening is that doe's watching back at the buck and the buck's watching her. Kind of keeps her mind off everything else that's going down. It's so windy today, they wouldn't hear me anyway. All right, let's stay on them now. Oh, come on.
Yeah. All right. Yes. Yes, he's going down. He's about 40, 50 yards out. Yes, he's down. Oh man, if it looks like I am cold and stumbling on my words and chilly, it is because I am frozen to death courtesy of this, probably -1 wind chill. He is down. And the only reason we're staying out here in this vicious weather is because it's 10:35 right now, and I have been watching that buck chase a doe back and forth through this patch of woods since early this morning. The last 2 hours, I've seen him 3 different times. He's too far, couldn't get him. Finally, the doe works back through. He's chasing her, not paying attention to anything, and wham, I nailed him. Oh, yes. 9, 10. Oh, right to the spot. Just about 30 yards. That's a little longer than I thought, but boy, it did a number on him. Pure pass-through shot. Arrow right here. Blood trail right through here, but we know he's laying right over here. He only went about 50 yards and I saw him drop. Let's go take a look at him. Oh, isn't this a beautiful day in the snow? Oh, oh, here he is over here. Woo, yes. I'm hot. Oh, look at this blood trail. The muzzy did the job. Oh, he is down for good. Oh, look at that big boy. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, he is down. Good hit. And there he is. Yes. Oh, I'm going to say he's an 8 point. I wasn't really sure. I've been watching him all morning. I wasn't sure how many he had on him. I'm going to count these though and say that's a nice 8 point deer. And I tell you, I earned this one. The cameraman and myself have been freezing our butts off. 2.5 hours. Been watching this buck all morning long, chasing that doe. They're breeding. It's November 9th again here in Michigan. And remember what I mentioned earlier, 80% of the does are bred. No matter where you live in the country, they're bred that first week of November, and you need to get out in the woods and hunt. Whew, I'm gonna take this off, I'm even hot. You need to get out and hunt, whether it's raining, snowing, blowing, whatever. Hey, the weather didn't bother him. He was chasing that doe. He didn't care what was going on. He came through too far. He came through a couple times. That doe kept going through. He kept coming through. Too far away. Finally, he comes into range. She's looking back at her shoulder, over her shoulder at him. He's looking at her. They got each other's interests in mind, and he just went right there, and I hit him. I hit him kind of far back on a quartering away shot. Went back in, but it's a deadly shot. Clipped those main arteries in the back, and the shot probably came out through the vitals here on the other side. Boy, we took everything out. He didn't go 50 yards, and down he went. But thank goodness we kept spotting him. We got him. What a hunt here in my home state. Yes!
You know, besides videos like this, there are other neat ways to learn about whitetail deer hunting. One is to join a big bucks club in your area. Now, this past spring, I had the chance to do a seminar on whitetail hunting at the Buckeye Big Bucks Club in Cambridge, Ohio. Besides meeting some neat people and seeing some true monster-sized bucks, I learned a bunch too.
Several different things that have excited me in the last few years about deer hunting, but especially Ohio. Today, being acting president of the Ohio Big Buck Club and looking at all the deer that we have here, it's just a great adventure to go out and pursue such animals like this. And I've done a lot of this myself. I'm an active bow hunter, and I really enjoy the outdoor sport of hunting in the pursuit of trophy whitetails, not only in Ohio, but also in other states. But the key thing that's really interested me is these deer, the larger deer, are so tricky and so smart, and it just intrigues me to actually have the opportunity to go after deer of such characteristics. And one of the key things that's really helped me pursue deer like this and actually see animals is by getting smarter and learning tactics, how they really move, some of the genetic traits that are different in the larger deer, and also about how they actually react due to moon phases, the rut, and different things associated with that. Weather fronts, alpha does, how they control the deer herd within your local area. And those are some of the things that's really helped. But the key thing that's really helped me more than anything else is learning how to beat factors that affect you in hunting. The key thing that's helped me more than anything is beating scent.
It seems to always come back to scent control, doesn't it? You know, the Buckeye Big Bucks Club has grown to over 6,500 members, each harvesting either a typical racked buck with a score over 140 or a non-typical racked buck with a score over 160. In Cambridge, I got the chance to ask some of Ohio's top trophy hunters this question. If they could only give one tip on how to locate and harvest a true trophy whitetail, what would it be? And this is what they had to say.
The more you go in, the less deer you're going to see. Every time it seems like you go into an area, the deer sightings will go down every time. So there's two things that I did to change that a lot. One of them being a lot more scent conscious, using soaps and laundry detergents and scent eliminators more than using cover scents. The other thing that I think was more important than ever, I used to go in and go take a map of an area and see it was maybe a mile square block, and I used to think, well, I'll be a macho man and go to the middle of it. And I think that was becoming a big mistake because I was going in too far. And now if I had one clue on not spooking these big bucks, it would be to study the area and find out the easiest way to get in, either slip in a logging road or go in a logging road and only be off to that thing maybe 100, 150 yards or less on the edge of that bedding area. Keep the scent to a very minimum and sneak in and sneak out and not necessarily go in a mile. I mean, it may be a mile block of woods, but just hunt the edges of it, and I think you'll increase your odds considerably.
I guess in the last 4 or 5 years I've been doing a little bit of my own research on first time in spots. I've had the fortunate being able to be at checking stations during October and November, and when a good deer comes in, 140 class, 150 class, whatever, I like to ask the guy a bunch of questions, but the main question I think I asked him is, was it the first time that you hunted that particular spot or stand or blind, or the second time? And I think more than once, and probably closer to 90% of the time, it's almost always the first time they hunted that stand or that spot. A lot of times it's the second, hardly ever is it the third time or more. I think what we're getting at is even if you don't realize that you're letting on to these deer, just being in this area, leaving your scent, leaving whatever, I think really tips them off, and I think you really got to bounce around from spot to spot. Even if you're on the same farm, you know, you might want to hunt the opposite end of the farm or whatever. Just keep bouncing around, keep mobile, and I think your sightings will be way up from normal.
You know, even with tips from the experts, sometimes a hunt can be over before it gets started. Like this hunt, where I bump into a buck after leaving the stand because I got cold. Once I saw this deer, things really warmed up.
He's really looking this way hard. His head's down, he's moving.
There, the buck wins us, and it's bye-bye. One place you can hunt whitetails if you enjoy cold weather is Canada. Ron Nemechek's North River Outfitting Service in Alberta is world-class and combines rut hunting with the biggest bucks found in North America. Hunters sit in heated blinds overlooking alfalfa baits in 20 below zero weather. And in rut, you will see deer, does, small bucks, and yes, big bucks. Canada whitetails tend to have bigger mass in their antlers and larger body size than their southern counterparts. Mississippi's Doug Malden is hunting with Ron and has been watching his alfalfa baits for several days. Small bucks, does, and coyotes have been in the area, but not the Canada-sized whitetail Doug would like to see. Until this evening's hunt. Let's watch.
Is that the same deer? No, it's not. Yeah, it is, yeah. He's a little late point. There comes some more behind it. More deer coming up. There's a bunch more coming out. Good. More deer. We're gonna have some, I think we're fixing to have some real action. Yeah, that's good. More deer coming out. Great. I see another buck coming. There's another buck in the woods gonna come out. What do you think? All right, go wide on him. You ready? I'm getting ready to shoot the one on the left. Oh yeah. Yeah, nice buck. Yeah. Whew, it's good to get one on the last day. Tell you, it's a good feeling. 350-yard shot. He's a young deer, but he's definitely a keeper for the last day. I'm tickled to death.
Well, once you've selected a tree that you're going to put your tree stand in, it's time to think about your luring scenario in the area that you're going to be hunting. We found this tree because it's in a good place where whitetail bucks and does are moving through the area. There's a lot of sign here. We need to think about the prevailing wind direction, or the way the wind blows most of the time. In this area, it blows from the west, which is that way. So that means most of the time the wind will be blowing this way. 8 out of 10, or 80% of the whitetails will approach your stand from the downwind side. Downwind being east. They're going to come this way, okay? So we want to set up our scrapes in our lure scenario so that it blows the lure this way, and the deer have to pass our tree stand in order to get to that source of the smell. By doing that, they come in our shooting lanes, and it gives us a nice, easy shot. What I want to do, and what I normally do, is I put my lure in my shooting lanes so that if the deer comes and stops at the lure, I've got plenty of time to take a deep breath, draw, and make an accurate shot. I don't want to have a long shot, so we're going to put the lure fairly close to the tree. Let's go over here. Remember, this is west, the wind blowing most of the time this way. I've got rubber boots on. I'm set up ready to hunt in scent eliminated clothing. This is a whitetail deer trail. You don't want to walk on the deer trail. But what we want to do is we want to make a mock scrape right here on this trail, perfect shooting lane to the tree stand. Most mock scrapes or most scrapes in the wild have an overhanging branch. We want to have an overhanging branch so we can put some lure smell here that will drip into the scrape. Since I'm clean from head to toe, I can just take my boot and rough out an area here. I'm going to rough it out right on the edge of a trail. This is what I would consider my mock scrape, right in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a product in here called Magic Scrape. This is a lure application. Bend down here and we'll shake it out. This is a weatherproof coated dirt. What it does is it allows the lure to set right on top of the ground and permeate the area with odor. By doing that, the smell corridor between our wick, which hangs above with lure on it, and this mock scrape is going to have lure smell in it. Very attracted to these deer. As they work down this trail or work towards us, we've got multiple chances for shot as they get to this area here. Magic Scrape's down. We'll put our lure in. Now it's best to use a lure applicator like a scent wick. I'm going to place it up here on the tree. There's a limb light that attaches to it that's fluorescent colored. Let me tell you, at night or in the dark, coming in early in the morning, it's nice to shine a flashlight over here. You can see that you've got your lure right there. I'm going to use some Buckler Supreme. It's actually my #1 lure and my favorite. Tracks bucks. There's an ingredient in here that I found when I was a trapper that just drove whitetail bucks crazy. In fact, all deer. It's important to remember that lures bring bucks and does bring bucks. It's good to use about 1/10 of an ounce of lure on your wick. What we're trying to do is create a corridor here. This wick is a porous material and it'll let the smell out all around us. We're going to have straight down to the scrape more lure. You can see on the dirt how the lure just sits on top. That lets a lot of the smell come out. It looks fresh. It looks like a buck just came in here and urinated right in this spot. So we have our lure corridor right here. It's time to go on and make lure station #2. You don't have to move very far, but we're still upwind of the tree stand. It means the deer have to come by our tree stand to be successful. I'm going to make another mock scrape over here. Mock scrapes are really nice because they have sight attraction as well. It's a good idea to make one of the 3 lure stations very, very visible. This one's off the trail, so I want to make it more visible than most. Like a big buck's been in here and really ripped it up. Made a heck of a mess. See how big that is? Again, we're going right over the top of it with the overhanging branch. Just like this. Again, shooting lane. I'm only 10 yards from the tree stand. Now you could use a different lure here if you wanted, but I prefer to use my Buckler Supreme. I'm going to use a different lure on the downwind side here in a minute. Remember, 1/10 of an ounce. Spread it on that wick good. Now here, since I made such a big mess, I'm going to try to conserve my Magic Scrape. So I'm only going to put the Magic Scrape in a small spot right here. And in the middle of that spot, I'm going to make a little dish or depression. And that way I can put my lure and it'll stay right in that little cup, that little spot right there. Remember, don't use your hunting gloves to apply lure. Use lure application gloves. See how it stays right in that one spot? Excellent. That'll work. Lure corridor right here. We've got 2 scent stations upwind of our tree stand. Wind direction this way, blowing the scent right past us. Now we're going to go downwind and we're going to use a call lure right over here. What a call lure is, it's a higher concentrated lure that will reach out farther. What happens is you have a lure dispersion area here, and as the wind blows this way, those lure circles or those mock scrapes that we just did only can reach out so far. By using a highly concentrated call lure, this particular smell area will reach out even farther. So deer farther down the ridge will smell this. As they work closer, as keen as a buck's nose is, he'll pick up the other scrapes in the smell corridors that we've created, and he'll want to walk by our tree stand, and that's the trick. We're trying to get him to walk by. Doesn't take much of this. Whew, this stuff's strong. It's highly concentrated. Just 2 droppers full is plenty. This is called 2 Drop Supreme, and it's a call lure, and it's made to call deer from far distances. This is a curiosity lure. They're curious to this. They have no clue what it is. They've never smelled it before, but they like it. They want it. They want to smell it. And you'll have actually does and bucks come up and actually smell these wicks. They'll try to lick them and try to pull them down, and they'll paw in your scrapes. And that's the key, because they aren't looking at you in the stand. They're attracted to those lure areas, and that's what we want. That's all there is to it. Anytime you put up 2 or 3 tree stands in a given area, set it up with the 3 scrapes. Use a call lure. Use your lures to your advantage, and you're going to see more bucks under your tree stand.
Coyote and fox trappers have known for years that staying clean and using good lures can let you get close to animals with incredible noses. So if you see a coyote close to your deer stand, you know you're doing it right. A good rule of thumb is to set up 3 stand locations on different farms for each different wind direction you encounter in your area. Then rotate stands so you're not hunting in the same one every day. Multiple stands will let you hunt a new area each day regardless of the wind direction. Use scent eliminated clothing and experiment with the triple scrape lure setup. What many hunters just don't understand is that the lures attract all deer 24 hours a day, and as deer sift in to investigate the scrapes, they leave more sign. They leave their tracks, urine, rubs, droppings, and other deer smells, and the lure setup area becomes saturated with deer smells. Deer smells are a fear eliminator to bucks, and you will see more deer closer to your tree stand by using lures. In this pre-rut hunt, I'm hunting a storm front stand where winds blow from the northwest. At about 5 minutes to 8, my scrape has a customer.
I made that rub. Put some Buckler Supreme on it. He's licking it off. Here he comes. He's coming over to the scrape. He's got his nose right in the scrape. His toes over here. Coming right into the scrape too. This other buck's gonna move off. These does, they really like this lure. Buckler Supreme brings in all kinds of deer. Got a buck to the left. Buck to the left.
50 yards, he's down. Oh man, did you see him work in here through that thick stuff? Right down in here off my left. Oh, I was at full draw at least a minute. I was gonna shoot him right when he came out from behind that tree, but there was all that clutter. And then he quartered toward me, and it's not a real good shot. And then he went broadside of me, and I'm left eye dominant, so when he went broadside of me, I kind of lost him in the sights a little bit there. And then he quartered toward me, came up here, he was kind of alert. He was getting closer to downwind and then turned as he quartered away. Perfect quartering away shot, right through the heart. Not very far. Boy, look at this rub over here. Nice rub. Heck of a rub. Oh man. Look at this buck, would you? That is exciting when they come working down in there. That 3-scrape setup is the hot setup. He was unalerted, he come right around. That's what scent elimination does for you, but that 3-scrape setup with that Buckler Supreme, that's the way to go, and you get bucks like this. Primetime bucks. This video has been about mastering the systems, and that's what you need to do. You need to practice and concentrate on all the different strategies for your whitetail deer hunting. For the entire Hunter Specialties Whitetail Pro staff, I'm Tom Miranda, reminding you to take a kid hunting and always be a conservationist. Enjoy the great outdoors. We'll see you next time on another Hunter Specialties whitetail video, just like this.
Scent elimination system.
Is that exciting or what, when they come working in like that?
November 9th again, here in Michigan.
Until yesterday. Oh man, look at this buck.